welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Having entered the town and found other enemies of Strahd, our heroes have begun their quest to slay the devil himself. Quinny found a way across an invisible bridge. Reginald went out of his way to protect Alyn subtly, and Not Petyr Baelish found them allies by playing his Hurdy Gurdy. Can the Dum-Dums find a way to defeat Strahd before he defeats them? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
As the clouds darken and evening sets on, you notice that you can't really tell if there is a sun, and if so, where it might be, because much like living in Vancouver or Seattle, those fucking clouds are going nowhere town. But the night is getting darker as night sort of begins to set in. Sort of at dusk at this point, as you make your way, and you can see people very much closing down for the night. There's a lot of, scared villager acting happening, people kind of boarding up their windows and really kind of battening down for the evening. There are torches lit kind of here and there, but generally speaking, most people seem to just be kind of hiding away for the evening.
Are the children who are not children still outside, like, begging for help? Or
They
are they
100%
also...
are, yep.
Okay.
They seem unaffected by the light. It's weird, though. They sound a little bit like NPCs in a video game who only got, like, 3 lines recorded because they keep saying the same 3 things. It's very much many people will die.
Yeah, Tondo's my favorite. It's my favorite Family Guy joke ever.
Gotcha.
Oh, look, there are terrorists on that boat. Yeah, we're going to get them, and many people will die. And then the second guy just keeps repeating that, and they're like, oh, they can only afford 2 lines of dialogue. And many people will die.
Yeah, so that's what the kids are saying, except they're like, please come inside, and no people will die. And they gesture to the house that has Death House painted on it. That said, you do notice as evening sort of creeps onward, the lettering is starting to fade into the house itself. And Ismark says, oh, shit, well, we'll have to repaint it tomorrow. So the Isabella and Ismark lead you through sort of through town towards this abbey, small church with kind of a big sort of cemetery out behind it. There's a sort of rusted, spiky wrought iron gate that runs kind of the perimeter of it, and then the cliffside itself kind of provides the back of the enclosure. As you approach, Not Pete, you are thrilled to hear Hurdy Gurdy music on the wind.
What's that? The music of my people on the wind.
Just like blaring loudly from the church. And as you make your way in, you kind of approach the doors and find they're locked. So Ismark starts kind of pounding on them, just being like, "We know you're in there. We can hear the Hurdy Gurdy. We got some burying to do. Hello." And the Hurdy Gurdy music stops. And you can hear like some classic Monty Python Foley acting of someone stumbling out from behind something. When the music stops, though, you think you can hear a muffled, piercing wail and scream. Then a moment later, the door opens and there is a priest standing there in kind of what would have at one point been very fancy robes, but they're clearly pretty threadbare, and you're immediately hit by just kind of the stench of unwashed body. It seems like this guy has probably been wearing these clothes for quite some time. He's got a bit of a John Lovitz thing going on.
And that he's standing near a curtain and saying, he's going mad. And I'm reaping all the benefits.
It stinks. he's also driving a car where somehow he manages to get lipstick on his upper lip and burn his mouth with a lighter so that he sounds like Hitler at a Holocaust museum.
You're right, yeah. This life is truly
do.
nothing but a fat rat race. Oh, yeah.
Extra points for using the Baja Men song to get us there.
Oh, yeah.
Musical legends, the Baja Men.
Yeah.
He answers the door and says, of course, the burger master. Come in, please. I was just in the middle of a hurdy gurdy dirgy. And he sprints back to the hurdy gurdy machine. Can you guys roll me a perception check, please?
Sure.
Sorry, I feel like this is just a game of perception checks, but
that's all right. Those bad rolls are starting to come in now.
when you play the game of perception checks, you perceive or you don't.
That's exactly what Not Petyr Baelish was about to say. He's like, no, that sounds more like something my brother would say. I got 17.
17, great.
I got 7.
25.
I got 11.
And 25 from Alyn there, Laura?
Yep.
Cool. And sorry, Ryan, you had
12.
12? Great. Quinny and Reginald, you just hear the sound of the hurdy-gurdy whirling back up as he proceeds to smash several plates. And you see Ismark just kind of nod and say, grief plates. And Isabel's like, smashed like our hopes of a long life for our father. But Alyn and Not Petyr Baelish, you're pretty sure you hear, just as the hurdy-gurdy begins again, the sound of someone yelling, "Father, I'm hungry!"
And immediately, Not Petyr Baelish is incensed because hurdy-gurdy music was not created to cover up the cries for help of what is clearly a young, helpless person. Hurdy-gurdy music was made either to inspire joy or help soothe people, apparently through grief. Not Petyr Baelish is just, oh boy, you best believe there is an anger a-brewing in the belly. So...
Mr. Not Baelish, you seem very upset. What's going on? I thought you'd like this music.
The music is beautiful and touching, if not a bit, honestly, like maybe a little bit fat. Maybe it's a regional difference. Look, I'm not a huge snob about it. Look, that doesn't matter right now. Clearly he is playing to make sure that we don't hear. What I am clearly hearing are the cries of help from somewhere within this abbey. Do you not hear it?
Nope, just definitely playing hurdy-gurdy dirgies.
Yeah, no.
Maybe take that coffin outside. I'll meet you out there. It's fine.
No. Not Pete's right.
He just starts pulling on a bell.
No. Shut up.
Once you hurdy, you can't stop gurdying, though.
That is a goddamn lie, and we all know it.
How do you want to try and convince him? You can roll a persuasion check. You can intimidate him. What would you like to do?
Not Pete is past the point of persuasion. Like, normally he's a pretty smooth operator, but I mean, I'm sorry, like, this is an absolute misuse of the tools. This is, yes, he's blaspheming, he's profaning with his music. So for intimidation, I'm gonna roll for that because I got a +7 modifier on that.
I mean, I'd love to help you with this, but I haven't been ordered to by the king, Reginald says from where he's standing.
Okay, so I only got a 9.
So
That's okay. I stepped up and got a nat 20.
Shit.
Okay, Alyn, what does that look like?
That's literally like me looking just like, you can tell I'm like no nonsense right now. Mm-hmm. And it's like, just like I get a little bit taller. The eyes probably go a little bit blackish. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I'm not raging, but
yeah, your
you're
hair is
hurting
that
a fucking
like
kid.
Is that like quarter Saiyan?
Yeah.
So it's just like starting to lift.
Yeah.
And
you can kind of feel me expanding.
also, I think we'll say that when you start to tap into that, like the blue spell scarring starts to like pulse.
Does it like show up again then?
Yeah, because you were never healed.
It was gone when she went to 2099. When she traded with Xanthus, it disappeared.
Yeah.
The blue spell scarring? Interesting.
I like to imagine all of this is being
think
said
so.
out loud, and Not Pete is just like, holy shit, I should have asked more questions about what happened to you guys.
Because
A
the
lot
stain.
has happened.
Sorry, to be clear, the stain disappeared when you went to 2099. But the spell scarring was from the puzzle box that exploded and
Yes.
was unrelated
You're right.
to the stain. So you still
Yes,
have that, and that
you're
starts
right.
to pulse.
Yeah.
That's largely because you were trading
Thank you.
bodies with Xanthus.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so it starts to like pulse blue in like a vaguely like Raiden from I was gonna say Metal Gear from Mortal Kombat way. And I think
And Not Pete, by the way, is just like behind Alyn, like, you know the way like a bully's crony is always the one going like, yeah, to like back up whatever the bully's
100%.
saying, but is completely ineffective, like on its own. That's totally what Not Pete is doing, like standing on tiptoes, kind of being like, yeah.
yeah, I imagine it's a Paul Heyman behind Brock Lesnar thing from the WWE. Just be like, yeah.
I understand that reference.
That's for the folks listening at home.
You, me both, Not Pete.
You're either Crab or Goyle behind Draco Malfoy.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Draco behind his dad.
I am a series of different levels of power in relation to other people at higher levels of power. I get it. I'm there.
This is called a status play. Yeah, you start to glow, and he looks concerned, but is still ceasing to play the Hurdy Gurdy, which is when your mage hand comes out and just slams the fucking, or I will say Billy Fingers, jumps out and strongmans it and just slams the it's a fancy fucking Hurdy Gurdy machine. So slams the cover down on his fingers. He's like, oh, my fingies. And suddenly the room grows quiet except for a voice being like, Father, please, so hungry. And the priest is like, oh, haha, weird things in my ears. How about you? Let's go bury that man, shall we? Let's go.
Can we tell what direction it's coming from?
From the basement.
Okay.
We can just go, though.
Quinny will say, I'm going to go check out that voice. You, and I point to the priest, will say, you get one shot an explanation and you're explaining to her. And I point to semi-Super Saiyan Alyn. And I'm like, make it good. Don't lie. And I run for the basement.
He, as you go, he turns away from Alyn and he actually just leaps at you. It would be a tackle if he was in any way coordinated, but he's not. So instead, it's more of just like an inelegant fall, and then he kind of grabs at your pant leg, or I guess the edge of your cloak, which his hands slide off of because it's rubbery mind flayer dragon skin. And he's just like, please, no. You must understand. He doesn't know what's happened to him, and I can't lose him. I can't bear to play a hurdy-gurdy dirgy for my own son.
What's happened to him?
Because now, using the powers of, I don't know, let's say logic, I would say feeding your son would really help with that. And he's crying out for food and sustenance. What sort of devilry has
Oh
befallen
my
him?
God. Okay, just to jump in here, I know my thoughts aren't welcome, but this guy's son is definitely a vampire in the basement. Am I wrong? And he just points at the priest.
I tried to feed him, but I couldn't bear to lure anyone down.
Son's a vampire, doesn't want to feed people. The vampire can't let the vampire out. I don't think this is all that complicated. Okay, be quiet
But it
now.
is. It's morally complex. Like me, the character you just met.
What's your name?
Is that your name?
No, my name is Donovich.
Father
Donovich
character
you just met.
Oh, the Hanover character you just met.
Truly, my family's lineage is large and wide. Like me. But please, you must leave my poor boy Doru alone. Sure, he's a bit hungry and manic, but he knows not what to do. He merely got caught up in that damn fool crusade against the devil's Strahd, and this is what happened to him. I begged him not to go.
So let me get this straight. Vampires are fighting against Strahd.
No, there
He was
was
a vampire when he fought him.
Yeah.
circle gets the square from the small one. Yes, he was not always like this. He was once
Tom.
a good boy, a smart boy, a kind, non-blood-sucking boy. My favorite kind of child.
Reginald would like to do a history check because he knows a lot about vampires and monsters, and he wants to know if it's possible to bring one back to life, or if they're just vampire or dead. Is that possible?
Sure. Go ahead and use your usual, like, weird blood hunter bullshit to up your roll.
Dope. That's a 21.
Exactly. No, based on what you've read in terms of, like, cures for vampirism, there really aren't. At least not in your realm. But that said, people in your realm tend to just accept that this is who they are now. There are cases of people who have learned to manage it. Usually they fall in love with Chosen One cheerleadery types in Sunnydale and other such places. But generally speaking, it's like people who were essentially like it's not an easy thing to do. It's an incredibly difficult thing to do, and only kind of a high-level hero could probably manage it. For most people, the hunger would be too much.
So mostly Angelus.
Yeah, like 9 times out of 10.
Okay, gotcha.
And even then, it's like it's a constant struggle and effort. So no, there isn't really any way back from this.
All right, so dark fact, there's no cure for vampirism. There's a chance, if this child lives hundreds of years, to gain some sort of conscience after slaughtering a ungodly number of people. They may be able to control their powers. Maybe
Or just leave him in my
eventually.
basement. Just leave him in my basement. He's fine down there. He enjoys my hurdy-gurdying so much.
I mean, it is pretty good. You could still use some practice, but
I know.
yes, well, yeah, not like
Can
you
you-
don't have the time.
Can you guarantee that performing the proper rites for this man, and I point to the coffin, will ensure that he will not rise as one of Strahd's legion?
Oh, yeah, yes, quite. That is one of the few powers left in my domain. My son would have been fine if he hadn't attacked the castle with that damned fool wizard.
Wizard.
What? Who
He
now?
happened to have something going on with his eyes,
Yeah.
that wizard?
Not at the time, but I assume Strahd slayed him. He arrived from faraway lands and began spreading tales of being able to defeat the beast in his own den, but he
Does
only...
wizard have a name?
We only know him as the mage. He didn't spend much time here, just enough to attract the attention of fools like my son. He just wanted a better life. And now he's a vampire. A vampire!
Excellent, excellent mage vampire. Perfect.
Is... I just feel weird taking a guy at his word who was playing music to cover up the cries of his son. I just want to get a quick looky-loo down there in the basement. Is he, like, chained up and stuff? Yeah?
No, he's a free-range vampire.
Oh, boy.
But it's very secure. No one comes here anymore anyway. And you look around, and sure enough, like, this chapel is pretty fucked up. Like, the pews are all kind of busted, and like, again, clearly he's been at this all day. He also explains that, like, he's also been praying while he hurdy-gurdies. Like, it's not like he's just creating noise cover. He's sincerely hoping that the Morning Lord will grant him a boon, although at this point he doubts that the Morning Lord even exists in this realm anymore.
Immediately, Not Pete's anger melts away because it's the thought of just using hurdy-gurdy music as as a distraction or to cover something up that was so deeply offensive. Not Peter's just like, nah, you got something chained in the basement, okay. It's like, oh, you're using this in service to a higher power. Okay, I get that. All right, this guy seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess first and foremost, we need you to perform last rites. That's like, let's not get too distracted here. We can come back to this vampire son in the basement thing in like a minute. Does it take a minute, Father?
Well, no, we'll have to dig a grave, and I'll have to perform rites. It's a funeral, not some kind of body
like
dump.
45 minutes. We'll come back to this. And Quinny's like, I'll grab a shovel.
Laura, you seem to have something. It's okay if you don't.
I've lost it. Sorry.
Great, all good. So you begin to make your way out. Reginald and Not Pete, you're kind of bringing up the rear. The priest has kind of let everyone outside. It seems like the two of you are perhaps the most concerned about the vampire in the basement. Is there anything either of you would like to do before you go out to do this funeral?
Well, I feel like there's something, some kind of, dare I say, higher power that's gently encouraging maybe one of us to do something vis-a-vis this vampire boy child in the basement.
I will say higher power does not care if you do or not. Higher power was just offering the position.
Well, Reginald, I know we haven't really gotten to know each other, and let's keep it that way, but... What are you feeling? Is that something we should check out, or should we just, like, should we cask of Amontillado that kid?
Well, yeah, here's our problem. This guy's like, what if we just leave this here with him? He's pretty friggin' old, and that vampire's gonna live forever. Eventually, the old dude's gonna croak, and then somebody's gonna come in here and open a door, and you're gonna have a brand new vampire situation.
That's a very good point.
I overhear this and huddle over, being like, that's what I was thinking. Says he never has visitors. We're visitors.
You know what, maybe...
No, listen, you have to stay outside, because someone's got to keep the priest out of here. We can't have a secret talk if everyone comes back inside.
We smash cut outside, and he and Quinny are doing that thing that, like, I've only ever seen, like, dads and uncles do, where they're just like, okay, well, it could be over here, but, look, it's got a slight incline, so the digging's going to be harder, but maybe...
Quinny does not have patience for this. He's like, come on, Father, sun's going down.
Yeah,
You're gonna have two monsters to worry
Son,
about.
I will say, Sonny is down.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, you're the one with the shovel. I just want to try and make it a bit easier on you. If you want to dig wherever, that's just fine. Just not there or there, because there's but that one's a double. I rolled an 18, so he finds a good plot. He's like, oh, right here, we'll do just fine.
Reginald peeks out the door and comes back in, and he's like, no, we're fine. They're kind of doing their thing. My vote would be... we kill it. There's like a 1 in a million chance that if we collect 3 magical items and come back here, maybe we could save this kid, but way better odds that we just die or something attacks us here in the middle of the night and then they free the vampire and it kills one of us. I vote we just go down and stomp a small vampire.
Oh, I mean, I can't disagree with that. And also it'd be good, it kind of like a practice run, Like, of like having to fight vampires, right? If we start with a kid, we can like work our way up to like adult vampires.
All right, well, I've fought a lot of vampires. Has anyone here not fought a vampire?
I mean, I've done... Okay, so it's not...
I raised my hand, like, technically, no.
Okay, there's one.
Like, I know a lot about them, and I've sent other people to fight them, so in a way, I have, but in another more literal way, no.
Not Pete, have you ever met a vampire?
It depends on what you mean by meat. If you mean have I... no.
Okay. Aside
right,
from, of
so
course, the
I've
dog-eared copy of Twilight.
I've read many tomes, each darker than the last.
Here's what I think we've got to do. If you don't have practical experience, then it should be you to kill the vampire. Because I'm betting, Alyn, you seem like a person who's fought undead.
True.
Okay, bam. Perfect. So, you go in, I'm going to be your training wheels. I fought the most vampires of any of us, so I'll be next to you, ready to just put that sucker down if it goes bad.
All right. Okay, so quickly, Tom. So obviously, Not Pete, though, would like know technically how to kill a vampire.
I would say you're actually probably better read on it than Reginald, despite the fact he's actually fought them. You've read a ton about it. So you know the usual tricks. Sunlight damages them very badly. Stake through the heart will kill them. Yeah, you've got all happily since D&D tends to just be like a reflection of the most generic pop culture version of all these creatures. You kind of know all the things that'll fuck up a vampire because they're just the things that any of us would think might.
That's right. Cool. So also just to... No, you know what? That stuff I choose. If we fight, I'll discover this, and I was going to ask some questions about my spells, but be like, nope, I'm going to find out if they work in the fight.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
It's the only way we play, my friend. I don't know what these spells do either, but I've got an iPad ready to go. Let's dance.
Yeah.
Alyn, do you want to come with us down these stairs to kill this vampire, or do you want to stay at the door to try to keep, distraught father from bursting in?
Alyn, can you roll an insight check for me?
Sure. 15.
So you know that they're quarreling outside. However, the task at hand is to dig a grave for a large coffin for a large man. Quinny is a tiny person with no upper body strength. So as impressed as you are with his gusto to go do this, you're also worried he might just tucker himself out real fast, and then they're gonna come asking about what to do next.
Yeah, if we don't get this done quickly, the guy's gonna figure out that his son is kaput. So, I'm gonna go be a nice, hearty, loud distraction.
Okay, what does that look
digging.
like? You walk outside to find Quinny madly quickly digging, but also very shallowly digging. Quinny, can you roll me an athletics check, please?
4.
Yeah, so Quinny is doing that thing I do when I try and dig with my tiny arms, which is just with great fervor and passion, but really not getting too deep. Also, despite what cool, scary movies have taught me, apparently it's very fucking difficult to dig that deep. So yeah, it's he's going at it with the correct amount of gusto, but you can tell he's starting to tire. Quinny, are you? I assume, did you, toss off your cloak and stuff for this, or are you still wearing all of your gear? Did you strip down to help shovel?
No, I'd be wearing my gear, so I'm getting tired even faster.
Yeah, you're getting tired and sweaty, and the cloak just keeps getting in the way because it's meant for stabbing, not shoveling. Yeah. Great.
Look, I can use prestidigitation to clean an object 1 cubic foot. Does that just mean getting rid of all the dirt in 1 cubic foot?
If it was dirt on top of something else, yes. If it's dirt that is naturally supposed to be there, no.
Oh, what a stupid.
Yeah,
oh man, that always turns out so well when you tell the DM the rules of the game are stupid. What could possibly happen to Alyn now?
Whatever. Show me what you got. Whatever.
Hey Alyn, why don't you just use your glass staff to do it?
Fuck you!
It would be so cool to just dig that hole wearing a cloak of the bat.
All right, moving past this because you and I are gonna fight, Tom.
Laura, I will say you can use prestidigitation. I can never pronounce that fucking word. Nope, it's done.
You said it.
It's Worcester sauce again. You could use it to. I would say you could use it to clean Quinny. You could kind of instant shower him, which might allow him to continue to dig. I would say again, normally if it was if there was debris and rubble, I'd let you use it to clear it. But because it's actually packed in dirt and earth, it's a bit harder.
That's fair.
You can also clean the priest. He needs it.
Ooh, that's true. That's a really good point.
Where's
later?
Ismark?
They are actually. He'll be helping you dig, and I think Isabella is. She's kind of got her sword drawn, and you notice that her hand keeps drifting to her neck.
Yeah, I haven't forgotten about that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be conscious though. It's just she in the same way that I think. I don't know. I'm certainly like this. Anytime I've had I split my eyebrow at one point in a hilarious batting cage kerfuffle at a dramaturgy conference because this guy, and I just couldn't help but be oh weird, This is just a thing I have now. I should release an album. So you,
So basically, I try to use prestidigitation, and clearly it's to no avail.
I will say it does clear the site a little bit because Quinny's not doing a great job of digging, so it helps a bit.
And then I throw some, I just like, everyone stand back, and I throw some acid onto the pit. Like, can I dissolve some of the soil?
Yeah, all right. I'd say that helps. At the very least, it softens the soil.
All right.
In a way that makes it easier to dig.
And I just grab a shovel.
Cool. So as you're doing it, the priest kind of nods at you and he says, "That's very impressive magic. The mage, he had a name. I've spent a lot of time cursing him as just the mage because that's what we generally refer to him as now. But it was Morton something.
Mortkind?
Yes, Mortonkind. Real fucking prick, that one. Anyway, good
I've
work
only read about him.
melting the ground. It was hallowed ground. Now it's acid ground. We did it. Meanwhile, back inside, the two of you are Not Pete and Reginald. You are descending into the basement. It is a fairly large sort of space made of sort of rough-hewn walls. There's damp clay and earth on the ground. It's clearly meant to be storage, not really anything else.
I mean, technically, it is storage right now.
Touche.
Right.
There are a number of rotting wooden pillars that are kind of struggling to hold the floor of the chapel up. Yeah. In the far corner, there is a guy who looks like he's about 25. Just kind of holding his head. He's got long, scraggly hair. He is literally wearing a potato sack. And he just looks up at the two of you and says, "Not father, but have you brought food?"
Reginald will whisper like, "You have a weapon, right? Like, what are you planning on using?"
I mean, I've got like a dagger.
You also have a rapier. It's in a box on your sheet. I also couldn't find it, and then I did just before I sent it to you. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, Reginald looks on your back, and he's like, "Normally people wear that on their hip. You probably forgot about it, but you actually have a rapier right there. I would suggest that.
Oh, yeah.
Long, pointy, straight through the heart.
But okay. So
Unless you get something else. I don't know you.
I mean, I've got some magic too.
That might do it. Can you stab him in the heart or take his head off? Reginald's just standing there with like his two-handed warhammer, like a torch for the two of them.
I will also say there are other ways to defeat vampires, so don't feel like you have to do it through the classical means. Also, given that this one seems to be kind of, for lack of a better term, a lesser vampire, it's not like you have to worry about like, oh, I like blew him up and then he just went somewhere else and came back. It's like, he's just kind of what he is. And he's like, "Please don't approach. I'm a vampire."
Jesus, like have a bit of self-respect, you know.
I'm a classy vampire.
Oh my
This is a lot of let me out of the basement, keep me in the basement kind of business.
I just want food.
Don't we all?
Probably. Are you a vampire too? A vampire? Sorry, I mispronounced it.
What's food to you? It's gonna be people, right?
Blood. I can smell your blood.
Oh, see, there we go. Yeah, he's
tasty.
gonna be a problem.
Look, hey, just maybe let's use. I just turned to Reginald. I'm like, I mean, while we're down here, like he's clear. Like, he's a piece of shit, right? Like, it's just a little piece of shit. Like, he's not even. He's like 20. He's an adult man. Like, I thought he was.
Well,
gonna be
we don't
like
know
a
how long
tiny
he's been
child.
down here. I was very worried.
I'm an adult.
Yeah, well, are you though? I mean, really? Okay.
Yes, I went on a quest.
Oh my god.
I did have to defeat a coven of child vampires back in my world. They all looked like they were 12, but they were 300-year-old genocidal racist maniacs.
Right? That's
and
how
they were
get
on the
you.
Alliance.
I would also say,
heroes make bad choices.
based on the age of Donovich, he likely was turned probably a couple years ago, but he was turned at 25. So you can safely assume that he isn't like. There's no trickery here. Donovich is only old enough to have. Yeah.
So
He's probably 35, 40. It's a medieval world. You know, that's a full life right there.
yeah, honestly, he's kind of. You know what? We might be putting him out of the misery of old age at this point.
Oh, you could just feed
think
me
this
and
is a
I'll
gift.
take over the church. I'll run it very well. Papa taught me how to do it before I became a vampire.
Really?
I can hurdy some gurdies.
Oh, could you? It doesn't. I feel like you don't have the soul for it. Literally, you don't. You're a vampire now.
Well, many people
here's
in
the
this
question,
realm
though.
don't have souls.
Yeah.
Should we test him? What if he plays the hurdy-gurdy beautifully and he'd be a great priest? Then, we don't want to kill him. Should you let him play the hurdy-gurdy, and if he plays good, he lives. If he doesn't, smash that vamp.
Okay. All right. You know what? I enjoy this gambit because why not? Let's play with the food. All right. So.
Pete takes out his hurdy-gurdy, like, immediately, like, all this, like, prep that he had done, just whatever base minimum of, like, okay, prepared to either, like, kill a child or kill a vampire. He's, like, kind of disappointed, so he's like, great, this is actually now something slightly interesting. So he kind of tosses, like, the travel hurdy-gurdy to the vampire, and is like, show me what you got.
Well played. One moment while I look up his stats so I can figure out what his performance will be.
Meanwhile, Reginald, once the hurdy-gurdying begins, will lean over to Not Pete and go, all right, so now you can either let the test happen, or you can attack him while he's playing the hurdy-gurdy. It's giving you some advantages.
I mean, that's true, but also maybe we could ask him some questions about, like, when he went on that quest to, like, you know, kill Strahd and, like, where they went wrong. Maybe also that.
Yeah. Draw us a map, talk about the defenses. I like your style, Not Pete, I have to say.
You know what? I've really enjoyed these, like, 10 minutes we've had together. I have to say, like, you seem kind of cool.
You're like a devious, underhanded murderer, and there are way too few of those in this world.
Thank you so much, you know? Like, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's a type, but, you know, I feel like I have my own personal style.
It's true.
Doro yells, "This one's called Wonderwall!" And he starts doing a hurdy-gurdy Wonderwall.
Yeah, but is it good?
Yeah, actually, I mean, well, here's the thing.
It's Wonderwall.
Doing it masterfully, but it's still Wonderwall.
See, this is what I encounter this all the time with people who are just really learning the hurdy-gurdy. It's like, technically they're proficient, but their taste sucks. It's like the opposite of that Sir Ira Glass quote, you know?
He's like
Sir
a
Ira Glass
hurdy
makes me
baddier.
very happy.
Hey, kid.
Maybe. What?
Wow. Wow.
Thank you.
You know, because you were so good at that, quote unquote, like doing the air quotes song. Thought maybe too, like you must have also been very good at remembering Strahd's defenses, and maybe where that attack went wrong, and maybe your artistic skills also transfer to, I don't know, say drawing maps of what his fortress looks like.
Well, I tell you what, if you give me some food, I'll be happy to help you. Because maybe you're going to be the one who saves me.
Well, here's the thing, though. That's us giving you food on, like, trust, and this isn't really, like, a trust-based scenario, so
And
what
I'm
if...
not your Wonderwall.
Okay,
You could
no,
be.
that's-
Anyone could be.
Neither of us is your Wonderwall. So, what if you draw the map and describe the defenses, and then we'll get you food, and then you play us Wonderwall one more time, and then that'll clinch it.
Oh, okay. It's certainly better than being locked down here alone with nothing.
It's true.
So he.
So I'll slide over, like, parchment and a quill and shit.
Yeah. So he's able to give you a map of basically just like the. He clearly didn't get very far, but of sort of the entrance hall of Castle Ravenloft. Which means that when you actually do, I mean, if you go to Castle Ravenloft, possibly during the climax of some
no,
kind of
we're
adventure.
done. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
I just wanted to kill one. Now I can go on vacation.
Vacation's where I want to.
We had to get away.
Now there's a
from
Hurdy
Borovic.
Gurdy song.
So yeah, he's able to give you, I think. Also, these maps are fucking ridiculous. He's able to give you actually a not bad kind of entranceway, and then kind of there's a central junction point just past the entrance that kind of leads to a bunch of stairs and other rooms. He's able to give you that much because that's about how far he got.
How come you only got this far?
It's the vampire Strahd. He was everywhere. He basically he describes the assault as the wizard Mordenkind was convinced, and it was very convincing, that if they all rallied together and just put aside fear and stood in the face of evil, they could bring an end to the vampire. Which was totally cool until a bunch of badly armed, ill-trained peasants rushed the gates. And then wolves and zombies and ghouls descended on them, tore apart their ranks, and then once they got inside the building itself, Strahd seemed in kind of that classic like anime like running teleport thing, just seemed to be all around them all the time. He just remembers chaos and blood, and the only other detail he's able to give you is it would seem that Strahd's Chamberlain / Renfeld was seemed to be a drow who stood by taking notes. Is the last thing he saw before he went down.
Yeah, that was a bad plan. As someone who was a general in an evil horde, let me tell you, it is your favorite thing as an evil general when the heroes are like, what if we all just stand together and bravery will save us? That's when you just slaughter them.
Yes, well, that's what happened to me.
Yeah, just you never believe in the power of love, you know? Like it's
I wish someone had... Where were you? When we... You are smarter than the wizard Mordenkind, that's for sure.
I know, that's why I wasn't here, apparently.
Is
And
that,
it, like Not Pete though, also kind of looking. I was like, for sure. Also like kind of helped maybe send some people over to fight everyone as well. But it's like, no, Dom, so stupid. Who would do
wait, didn't
that?
Didn't you send a bunch of Vistani here to attack the castle? Is that a thing?
I'm gonna need to get that Hurdy Gurdy back.
Says, oh wait, yes, some of them were with us. Brave warriors, they serve Strahd now.
What?
Yes. They were very good at fighting, but there were too many of them.
Immediately, like Not Pete's face, like just falls. Like both the fact, like, oh shit, well that was a huge mistake, but also like knowing how good the Vistani are, like this just is adding so much more firepower on Strahd's side. It's just like, yeah, you think you're only gonna fight like a giant spider, but then it turns out that spider has like 12 spiders attached to it. You know, that very common scenario we've all found ourselves
Truly.
in.
Yep.
You know, it feels like that. So Not Pete just goes,
Oh, I know that feeling. We've actually never been more alike. I sent a lot of very deadly people on missions I didn't want to go on too, and then they either died or betrayed me, and it really bit me in the ass a lot. So that level of like fear and we're screwed, that's a 2-person load now.
And Not Pete just actually like turns to Vampire Weekend over there and just says like, you know what? Play Wonderwall again. I deserve it.
He cracks his fingers, says, this one's going out to you! And then he starts hurdy-gurdying his way through Wonderwall again. Although
Reginald
this time...
will just quietly ask, so is this one going to be you, or do you need me to do this for you? You got a lot on your plate right now.
You know what? Yeah. I
I have to just get the hurdy-gurdy back at some point. Like, Not Pete just kind of like kind of bustles out of the basement, almost feeling like I don't even deserve to have that hurdy-gurdy anymore. There's like, it's just everything has gotten so much worse all of a sudden. Like, I need to be alone, and just like tromp up the stairs, out of the room.
Cool. So Reginald, you're left with Doru just banging away on that hurdy-gurdy. He's currently at like the third repetition of the chorus. It's just like, how so?
Sitting at a hurdy-gurdy, I just want to go up behind him and say, "It's a beautiful song." And then just top to bottom, I want to try to drive his skull through the floor from above.
Oh, I see. Literally flatten him. Okay. I need you to roll me an opposed check, please, for deception, because I don't think he believes you when you say it's a beautiful song. That sounds like the kind of thing someone who's going to murder you says when you're playing Wonderwall.
Oh my god.
He's pretty charismatic, if I remember correctly.
That is a 21. I am not good at deception, but I rolled very well.
He just nods and smiles back at you, and he's like, "Oh man, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Looking forward to that meal you promised." And then you just fucking flatten him. It's the equivalent of hearing an accordion go like, "Frank." The hurdy-gurdy plays a discordant hurdying and just an off-putting gurdying. And with it ends the curse that has befallen Doru. Meanwhile, outside, Alyn, Quinny, and Ismark are quickly shoveling when you hear a howl that is joined by several other wolves howling. And as you look up, a carriage approaches, a black carriage, seemingly drawn by nothing, which sort of rolls up, and a drow in kind of like a very worn, surprise, it's a butler, in a worn crimson long coat. Steps out and just sort of opens the door with his back to you. And from inside the carriage, you almost feel like the air is sucked out of your lungs as this door opens. And a figure emerges with kind of striking cheekbones, just perfect facial symmetry, is the kind of person who's like unfairly beautiful in a way that you know that you shouldn't care about, but you can't help but kind of be like, holy shit, that's, wow. It's, it's Derek Zoolander. It's just the most sort of strikingly handsome face you've ever seen. His eyes seem to glow with a sort of a malevolent hunger. He's got black hair slicked back in a way that would look like a douchebag on like 99% of the population, but he's that 1% who just sneaks by. And he sort of sweeps down the stairs with an elegance and a grace that's almost indescribable. And the entire picture is one of just incredible grace and elegance, except for the extraordinarily loud Hawaiian shirt he's wearing with a large lei that kind of flutters in the wind as he steps down. And he just says, "Ah, a funeral. And where, pray tell, was the invitation for Strahd?"
Is that who you are? You're Strahd?
Of course, you are in my realm. I am the land. I am this place. And you are here merely by my hospitality.
Quinny will, under his breath, because they're all together digging this grave, say to Alyn and Ismark and Isabella, just like, all right, keep it cool. We don't have the objects we need to kill this guy yet, so we're on his turf. Just I don't know. Let's see what happens here.
And he immediately locks eyes with Isabella, whose like hand shoots to her throat, And his eyes kind of narrow a bit, and he smiles. He says, "Ah, yes, the resemblance is truly, truly astounding. He was not lying. Ha ha. In any
Sorry,
case,
who wasn't lying? What resemblance?
Oh, please, don't concern yourself with this. You are
No, you're
merely
just
a
giving
grave
creepy
digger.
looks at this lady here.
Look, she just managed to settle a bet for me. It's no big deal. In any case...
Still creepy.
Well, you have your opinions, I have mine. This is my realm, and I'm the hero of the story, clearly. In any case, no matter what the others say. So, in any case, listen. Very glad you're here. I hear you're adventurers of some sort. I can see from the fact that you're grave diggers who are presumably some kind of wizard and some kind of, rogue with that cloak? Ridiculous cloak. Why are you wearing... Anyway, I'm sorry. That's a me thing. That's not a you thing. I just... so gauche. And then he flicks his lei over his shoulder. And he says, listen, nothing personal, but... if you have truly come to my realm to, I don't know, slay me, as you seem to be whispering about, perhaps it's time for a little test, And then he, claps his hands very daintily, and massive wolves, I'm talking like cow-sized wolves, leap sort of out of the darkness and attack. Go ahead and roll initiative.
Just imagining combining our wolf sounds with a moo, so it just goes like snorf, snorf.
Yeah.
Cow-sized wolves come out of the dark.
15 for Alyn.
9 for Quinny.
Okay, and Not Pete, you're like walking out of the church thinking deep thoughts about hurdy-gurdies and your fallen Vistani friends. And it's literally like Donald Glover delivering that pizza. You just like walk out as like massive wolves leap out of the darkness. And Strahd is sitting there looking all fucking
And
imperious.
also, I notice on my character sheet for under like kind of features, traits, and more, my flaw is can't resist a pretty face.
You walk out and it is full rom-com. Like time stops, Take My Breath Away starts playing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just sort of like, okay, so it's, that shot where like the focus just goes on to Strahd. Like you can still kind of hear like the wolf cows in the background, like the screams of people preparing for battle, snarling, the ripping, and then also just like watching every motion in this foolish love is gay.
And he's clearly like fixated on the combat, and then suddenly like the slow motion ceases for him alone, and he just kind of like snaps his head in a way that is shown from multiple angles, and kind of looks directly into your eyes.
Yeah.
And you notice his jaw just imperceptibly drop ever so slightly. And then kind of he does a look left, a look right, and then a lean in, gesturing to himself. And like in slow motion, there's like a wolf cow like leaping between you, but no one like.
Yeah, and I'm just sort of like, yeah, you. And then like take a step forward, just like I like kind of like go like this with my head as a wolf sails past. Like,
Yeah. There's like, Ismark like throws a knife at him, and he does the same thing. He just kind of leans and it buries itself in the carriage behind him. Can you go
and
ahead
then
and roll
I
me...
kind of do this thing where I'm just like, you've got to like, as the knife is going by, kind of like you've got a little thing right there.
Yeah, he looks to it and he's super embarrassed. And he just like flicks the blade away in midair, and it flies off into the distance. And then he just like gently readjusts his lei so it doesn't look weird anymore, because it was like a little ruffled by that dagger.
But it looks so good now.
Can you roll me a charisma save, please?
Sure.
This is weird. We're dipping into Vampire the Masquerade rules, but I want to see if you can resist the magnetic connection you feel.
Yeah, just to, like
Strahd
this
von
person I
Zarovich.
have been like studying to fight against, like this has now become my life's work, and just immediately, like
No one told you he was so handsome.
no one told me.
Life was gonna be this way?
Okay. So that's a D20, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. 22.
So I'm going to give you the option. You can decide kind of from an RP perspective what you want to do. You do have the willpower to resist this connection you feel to Strahd. The question is whether or not you do. I'll let you think about that while we sort the rest of this.
Okay.
Ryan, if you could also roll me initiative. Obviously, you're busy stomping right now, but
painting the basement.
yeah. But I just want to know.
That's a nat 20.
All right.
Nice.
All right.
Donkey
all
Jr.
right.
came down to help me. Reginald's got a song, so he knows what to do with vampires. He's like, stab him in the heart, throw the head across the room, burn the body. And he's just like doing the bit of like what he's supposed to do. Donkey Jr.'s helping.
Donkey Jr. is doing the Michael Madsen dance from Reservoir Dogs with like a cigarette in his mouth, just waiting for the burn the body piece.
Yeah, after I splash the body with stuff from like a wine flask, Donkey
Yeah,
Jr. just
he's
throws it in and we
singing
both
the
do a little
classic
dance.
song "Snarf in the Middle" with you.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, I'm so glad we came up with this after murdering those child vampires, because that was a really dark day. You need to just dance it out at the end.
Snarf Hall. In his head, he's like, "Yeah, it's the worst day of my life. Terrible."
You and me
So-
both, buddy.
Great. So, Ryan, I'm going to say you will arrive in. I was going to say 2 rounds, but with your perfect 20, I feel like it's going to be 1 round.
Cool.
Cool. And then I'll roll for okay and okay. Not Pete.
Yeah.
What does your heart tell you?
I think I see like the obviously like the wolf cows. I know they're just wolves the size of cows, but I'm calling them
No,
wolf
we're calling
cows.
them wolf cows from now
Okay.
on. It's just it's fine. We're
what,
there. Yep.
It is what it is, yeah. I see like the wolf cows are like attacking my friends, and I see them like attacking Quinny, and clearly this guy, clearly Strahd is the one who's like throwing them at Quinny. So I'm like, okay, no. Bros before bros. Like but I do this very reluctantly because Not Pete is really just such a sucker for people that he's immediately intrigued by. Like this is so much willpower, and he's not happy to do this, but I think there's also this like, wow, I am so fucking strong. Like this is so incredible.
I love how
what I'm
self-affirmation-
doing. And that also bolsters.
Yep. 100%.
Oh, this is all going in the gratitude
Oh,
journal.
man.
Like,
No,
this
I get
is
it.
all,
It's-
I'm so grateful for my willpower.
It's such a good runner, and I'm very glad we found it so early. It's a delight. Great. So,
And 90% of the entries are just him being grateful for himself.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if he's the one who's like getting himself most of what it is that he wants in this world, why wouldn't he be grateful?
right. All right. So, top of the
I
round
ask you.
is Alyn.
Oh, do you need me to roll for initiative?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. So let me add my 17.
17. Okay,
Okay.
since I already declared Alyn, we're going to start with her
right.
to account for the like blinking off of the like, oh, that person's damn attractive. I really should do this thing instead, but not forgetting about you. Great. So, Alyn, there are 3 wolf cows.
Oh, good. I wrote 8.
No, there's 3. There's 3.
That's more manageable.
Yeah.
I mean,
manageable amount of wolf cows.
ish. So yeah, there were 3, and then Strahd and his major domo. But currently, they are not. They don't seem to be rushing into the combat. They're just kind of observing. It's a
Yeah.
classic 60s like Batman 66, like get him kind of situation. So yeah, the wolves have leapt in. You can tell that one of them is going straight for Isabella. The other 2 seem to be going one for you and one for Quinny. Ismark seems slightly offended they're ignoring him, but he's busy throwing a dagger in slow motion.
Okay.
What do you do?
Would you say any of the wolf cows are within 20 feet of each other?
We'll say the one going for Isabella and the one going for Quinny are. I think the way we're positioned is like if the grave is in the middle, the 2 of them were further up. You're because you came out of the church, you're kind of at the south point of the grave. So the two wolf cows that are leaping at them are definitely closer, and then there's one coming up behind you. But yes, those two are within 20.
Then I would just like to try to just like make quick work of those with some fire. So this is just like, I got no patience for this shit, is kind of what I'm thinking.
Do you say that out loud?
I don't, because Alyn thinks her magic is way too cool to ruin it with something like that. It's very
it's
smooth.
oh hello or nothing.
Yeah,
Hello.
exactly.
Acid.
So they just got to make a dex saving throw. The two of them.
What's the DC?
DC is 15.
One of them makes it, the other one does not.
Okay, let me roll some dice. So the one that fails takes 25 fire damage. The one that passes takes 12.
Holy shit. All right.
Haven't used fireball in so long.
So, Alyn, you literally are like mid-dig, like you're bringing your shovel up with dirt, and you see these fucking wolf cows arrive, and you just take you leave a hand in the middle of it so you can still balance it, and you just reach out with your other hand, and a fireball goes off. You completely obliterate one of the wolves. It just bursts. The other one is set ablaze, and you see Strahd, not Pete, because even though you're readying for combat, you're doing that thing where you're constantly darting looks over. You see him do that Antonio Banderas meme, where it's just like, oh, like he's impressed and kind of like delighted by what just occurred. Cool. So yes, Alyn, your fireball obliterates one of them.
Lovely.
Bring us to Not Pete. So there are two wolves left currently, but you can hear howls in the darkness. It would seem that more are perhaps on their way.
Okay.
What do you do?
I think I do the only thing someone like Not Pete in this situation could do, and that's use Thunderwave.
USA! USA!
There are no people. I don't understand.
Well, actually, Tyler, there are. Where are you aiming the thunder wave?
Does it only work on people? I can't use it on the wolf cows?
You can, but in order to hit any of them, you kind of have to hit whoever's nearby because you're just throwing a wave of force.
Oh,
so,
shit.
I assume...
maybe I shouldn't use that then. No,
Nope, too
no.
late.
You know what?
You're
I am
committed.
gonna. You're right. I am committed, and
Yeah.
I think I would like to.
So basically, just to set the scene for you, the one that was leaping at Isabella has burned up. There's one leaping at Quinny who's on fire, and there's another one that's going straight at Alyn that she's ignoring.
Okay, I guess I'll go for the one going for straight at Alyn. If Alyn is ignoring it or can't see it,
She just chose to ignore it. She wanted to blow up the most things for the least amount of money.
that makes sense.
I respect it. It's
Yeah.
good economy of
do.
death.
Okay, so for Thunderwave, sorry, I'm just trying to find it on.
Yep. Oh, yes.
sheet.
I'm sorry. I had to add it late to your sheet because the character builder I was using just generates things. And I was like, we can't have a Not Pete without Thunderwave. That's madness.
I know, and look at me using it. Absolutely not at the time, but I should be. But I'm going to use
this is
it anyway.
exactly where I want you to use it to be true to the character and the history.
So, because also right now, like, Not Pete is kind of like reeling from that sudden attraction that happened, pulling himself away, being that self-congratulatory, but still feeling that keening loss of this decision I've made. So I'm gonna take it out on this wolf cow, and hopefully, like, I'll throw it toward maybe the carriage that it came with. I don't know. So I think to make this work, I've got to. What do I have to roll? Just remind me quickly.
Thunderwave. 1 second. I'll just pull it up here.
It might just be a save for the targets.
I believe that's true.
Okay.
So you have a spell save DC.
I believe it's 17, not Pete, if I remember correctly. Weird. When you search Thunderwave, the first thing isn't the D&D one. It's the Pokemon move that from
Nice.
Bulbapedia, which I did not know exists, but now I'm glad I do. So each creature in a 15-foot cube originating from you must make a Constitution save. On a failed save, they take 2d8 thunder and are pushed 10 feet away from you.
Okay.
Now, not Pete, because you're level 11, so you're super jacked up. You can also cast this at a spell slot of higher than second level second level or more adds additional d8s. How badly do you want to fuck up this wolf cow? The first one did seem to explode fairly easily, so it doesn't seem like they're that hardy, but essentially, if you spend a higher spell slot, it will be more thunderous.
And will that whip the wolf cow further into the distance at potentially where the other howls are coming from?
It'll still be 10 feet. Also keep in mind that if you blast it much harder, and Alyn, when invariably Alyn fails this save, will also take that damage from the blast.
Okay, so maybe I won't use all my spell slots for this, but I'm still going to do it, generally speaking, without thought for those around me, because I'm so self-involved right now in my own feelings.
So can I offer then, perhaps you cast it at level 2, so
Okay.
it'll do 3d8 thunder, and we'll use up one second level spell slot.
Okay. So I'll roll my...
So I got to roll. So Laura, I need you to roll a con save, and I'll roll one for the wolves.
Okay.
DC 17.
Shit, no. I failed.
Yeah,
I got
Wolf
15.
Wolf also fails. Wolf got 4.
So if it makes you feel any better, Alyn, the wolf failed harder.
Yeah.
So
Fortunately, a fail's a fail.
rolling 3d8s. I got a 5, a 7, and a 6. So that's a total of 18.
Oh. All right. So, damn. So yes, Alyn, you take that damage. That wolf is so 2 things happen. You take the damage. The shovel is blasted out of your hands, and that full shovel full of dirt just falls right back in, like just garbage for you. You're sent flying through the air, and for the first time, you understand why Butthole was always so mad at you for hitting him with spells, because this fucking sucks. Meanwhile, the wolf is just like, as it's like blasted off into the darkness. It pings off the grated fence and just kind of tumbles off into the dark. Alyn, you are blasted towards the carriage, and you actually slam into the Chamberlain. And the two of you just kind of collapse in a heap, which we'll get back to in a minute. But not Pete. The good news is that Strahd is looking at you, and he's giving you like a Matthew McConaughey in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days smile whenever she like slips up, and he's like, "Oh, you're actually kind of cool." So he's just giving you a nod.
I don't care. I don't even care.
And across the void, it's just like, "I'm just always impressed by someone who brings the thunder." Bringing us to the wolves. So there's only one wolf left here. The rest of them are advancing. It's going to jump at Quinny. Quinny, what's your AC?
17.
It's a big old nope. That is a 12. So the wolf leaps at you. But like as a halfling, like your whole fucking life has been spent dodging large things moving slowly. So with a flourish of the cloak you were chastised for, you step aside. The other wolves get one step closer to the edge, and they're about to break. They get one step closer to the graveyard.
Wow.
Brings us to Strahd.
Who needs a little room to breathe?
This is interesting. He would have engaged in the combat, but now he's a bit bashful about it because he doesn't want to look like an asshole in front of Not Pete. So you can see him, like kind of like cracking his knuckles a bit and like trying to figure out what he can do that'll look cool. But you can almost visually see him flipping through his spell book, trying to figure out what he can do that won't suck. And no, that's a 2. Yeah, he's really fucked up about it. It's full on like kid like kicking the ground, not being quite sure what to do. And Isabella just yells like, "You monster! You won't take me!" And he's like, "Shh." Sorry, I've got a thing going on over here. You shh, quiet. Bring us to top of the round. Reginald, dusting your hands off of Vampire Head. You step outside to see a wolf like jumping at Quinny. Hawaiian shirt clad Strahd, looking kind of bashful. Not Pete, also looking kind of bashful. Alyn tangled with someone. You see just like the end of Alyn's flying arc. As well as a wolf being blasted off into the distance. And you just see the priest like holding up a holy sigil and one fist, kind of looking around, and Ismark is just like throwing daggers kind of ineffectively. That Strahd is just like knocking aside as he looks at Not Pete.
Cool. I think Reginald will run to Alyn. That's his instinct, to like help Alyn up and be like, "Shoot around me, not through me." And then he's going to turn around and he'll just hold any combat actions where he's trying to make like a human shield of himself for the wizard, where if somebody comes close, he'll smack him. Otherwise.
Okay. I'll say I don't think you can get to her this round.
Okay.
If you want to double move, but even then you got to like clamber over a gate. But we'll say you're like on your way there. And if she frees herself, it'll be easy enough for her to join up with you.
Cool. Then yeah, I'll just book it for Alyn. I'm down with that.
Great. Next up, Alyn, you are tangled up in blue. There's the Chamberlain is kind of like under you. You kind of push yourself up and off. I assume your intent is to kind of run back into combat, or what's your plan?
Oh yeah. I want to. I'm really pissed and just want to like end this. Just so I can have some words with Not Pete.
I will say Strahd is like right next to you. Like you're at the edge of the carriage. Also, can you roll me a perception check?
Yes.
Oh shit. Oh, okay.
Oh, 10.
Okay, cool. So you kind of like push this fucking idiot you landed on down, like face first into the ground. You've dealt with enough evil butlers that you're just kind of like, whatever, fuck this guy. You get up, and Strahd is literally like standing at the foot of the carriage, looking bashful, locking eyes with Not Pete. What do you do?
I'm kind of just like, I wonder if we can just get this guy now.
So what do you do?
I'm
imagining this is all happening at lightning pace for Alyn's brain.
Shut up.
Just flipping through spell cards inside Alyn's head. No, I'm just narrating to fill the space. That's all. Alyn stands there. Time slows. We zoom into Alyn's mind palace.
Admittedly, Strahd is also doing this right now, so it's just literally watching two people shuffle a deck of magic cards really fast.
Yeah, I'm just imagining Alyn inside her mind palace. Like,
it's one of those sped up things.
Takes a book down, flips through pages really fast, reading it. Over here, reading. There's just like pages flying in the mind palace as she considers every option.
There's still the one wolf at Quinny, right?
That's correct.
Yep.
Fuck, I gotta... Shit.
Yeah, time's still sped up in her mind palace. Now she's just standing still swearing.
Fuck, I'm just gonna throw some magic missiles at that stupid wolf.
Yep.
I'm just not confident enough I can take this guy right now.
It's not a bad call, given that his name is on the top of the fucking book.
I'm thinking 1-2 hits with acid splash and he's fucked.
Hell yeah. Fucking unarmed strike. Just Superman punch him like you did the other day.
Okay. It's just gonna be at level 2 because I think he's looking pretty rough. Except I rolled really low. 3, 4, 6, 8. Jesus, almost as low as I could roll. 10 damage.
Okay. So looking quickly between Strahd and the wolf, you realize that although Quinny dodged the first strike, he is notoriously squishy. Also, based on everything people have been saying about vampires, it seems like simple attacks might not actually be able to do the job. So reaching out, you unleash magic missiles that pummel the wolf. The wolf is looking pretty rough. Which brings us to Not Pete.
Okay. So Pete and Strahd are like kind of sort of doing this like mutual bashful thing. It's like that Vine where that guy's like, sup bitch? She's like, don't call me bitch. And she's like, bitch. And she's like, oh, like that? Like it's that vibe? Like it's totally, so it's sort of like what? So there's sort of kind of like this like there's the idea of like maybe I want to show off with the magic again, or maybe it's time I got a little closer, but like maybe with a rapier. So I think, how far away am I from Strahd?
With Reginald, he was sort of like 2 full moves away, so about 60 feet.
About 60 feet. Okay. So right, I can only move 30 feet per turn.
That's correct. Yep.
So in that case, I'm gonna try to use Vicious Mockery on Strahd, and I want to see how hilariously this goes. Hold on.
All right.
Okay. So again, like this is also almost when people are flirting, but they're also like negging and like trying to get that like one up on someone else, but it's also clearly like just so loaded with sexual tension.
Look, I did just cite How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is just that as a movie. So yes,
the most sexual
100%
movie of
with
all
you.
time. Yes,
Truly.
as we all
Yes.
know.
Get that love fern.
So Not Pete kind of like strikes this sort of like pose like that he knows it's like showing off his best angles. Like, when you watch someone pose for a photo and they're clearly like, okay, so like their stomach is kind of sucked in and like their chest is kind of out and like their arm is on their hip, so that, or like their feet are like positioned in such a way to make them slimmer or like whatever. It's kind of that, but it's also a power pose. And Not Pete is just like to Strahd, it's like like, well, looks like your pets aren't doing so well. Maybe you're not ready for a real fight, you animal. Like kind of just sort of trails off a little bit. That did not go very well at all. So just tries to like take a breath, gather it back up, and it's just like, yeah, you think you're so hot? Well, you won't be so hot if you're on fire. Like, Not Pete is not doing well. He is not doing well at this.
I will say Strahd is responding as though you are, though, because he doesn't. He's worried that if it comes across that you're really bad at this, you might just stop. And he's kind of wants to see where this goes. So for Vicious Mockery, what do I assume I need to roll a save of some sort?
Yeah, let me just check real quick. Yeah, wisdom saving throw.
All right. Okay, he passes. He's like nodding along, being like, "Ooh, yeah, that you sure got me." But it's mostly that he's awkward enough about trying to make this work that he doesn't really know, like, if he's supposed to be offended or laugh or not. So he just kind of is like doing that incredibly painful nodding thing, which is like,
Yeah. And then
Okay.
Not Pete's kind of like that like power / sexy pose is just sort of like now just like has gone suddenly. It's not like he's moved or anything. It's not like Not Pete has changed positions, but the position lacks power now, so it just really looks kind of awkward. I don't know if any of the wolf cows notice if it affects them because of the secondhand embarrassment.
No, they're pretty worried about dying.
Yeah,
but
well, so am I out here. Jesus.
See Strahd do the Lee Pace disappointed elf turn away from the Hobbit. We're just like his face falls and he just says, "I don't know. Maybe you're just not ready for what we could have." And then he just turns and walks up the steps into his carriage. As the burning wolf kind of like looks over and kind of like hey, what the fuck, bud? What kind of way? You just see the Chamberlain kind of scramble up the stairs after Strahd, who just like puts a hand against the window and looks at you longingly. And as the Chamberlain closes the door, Alyn, you manage to like look over, kind of ready to blast him in case this is a trick. And your stomach just completely falls as you recognize Xanthus closing the door. And then the carriage disappears in a dark flash.
Every time there's a drow, I'm like, man, we know like 2 drows.
Yep.
I'm just.
This is one of those 2 drows.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reginald gets to her and is like, "You seem really upset. What's going on? Someone closed the door."
Quinny's just stabbing the wolf to death.
Quinny lets it burn. It never touched Quinny. Quinny basically just like danced around it until it got tired and fell over.
Quinny, can you roll me a perception check real quick?
14.
As the wolf burns to the ground behind you, and you kind of look to your shovel again, just on the wind, you hear the sound of faint applause. And as you kind of turn and glare into the darkness, again, you feel like someone was watching you.
Well, I mean, we know Strahd was watching us. It feels like a separate
It
presence?
feels like after the carriage disappeared that someone was watching you.
Okay. And it's the same feeling as when I was dancing? Yeah,
100%.
Okay.
And so, yes, Reginald, you run over to Alyn. Alyn, you stare after the... I was going to dance around it, but the DeLorean-esque exit of the carriage, leaving kind of a bluish flame where the cartwheels were. And Reginald approaches and asks, "How are you doing?"
I'm standing, just like with my hands on my head in like kind of disbelief.
Yeah, what blew your mind? Vampires are pretty powerful, but let me tell you, you can kill one pretty easy.
No, Did I tell you about? I tell you both. Okay.
Billy Fingers is like patting you on the shoulder reassuringly.
Yeah, thanks, Billy. Did I tell you about Xanthus?
No. All I know is that your stepdad died. I knew you didn't like him. Things were weird with your mom. That's it.
Okay, no. Xanthus tricked me into switching places with him and going into an alternate dimension where I was stuck for a very long time. Yeah, I'm gonna have to kill him. So,
okay, well,
I'm gonna get my
Quinny
shit back.
approaches from the grave, and just be like, "We're adding him to the list again. He was on the list before, but he's back at the top again." Or near the
okay,
top.
cool. So we got to deal with Strahd and kill Xanthus. Not Pete. Quick question though. You seem to be the one leading up team kill Strahd, and now it seems like you might be team bone Strahd. Where you at on this Strahd business?
Not Pete is just kind of like staring off into the middle distance and kind of does that thing where he's just like, then looks down at his hands and like kind of slowly closes them and it's like, I I think I just need to sit down for a little while. And kind of moves to sit down and then just sort of like stumbles into where the grave is. And then it's just like lying there, like staring up at the sky. Now, not only dealing with the fact that he led all the Vistani into this fight with absolute and is now like on Strahd's side, it is now just like literally dealing with the fact I have never felt anything like that for I guess not human in this case, but for another being. Oh my God. Holy. Oh, I really understand those Twilight books now.
And then Isabella kind of peeks over the grave and she's like, hey, if you need to talk about this, I'm kind of dealing with this too.
Yeah. And so at this point, not Pete's arm is over his eyes and he just kind of lifts him up. He's like, yeah, seriously.
I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the whole drinking my blood and erasing my memory piece, but there is an allure that is although you seem to have a different version than mine. He just kind of kept appearing at my window, whereas you, I mean, that was, look, I saw that look. That was crazy.
I know, right?
Yeah. Are you okay?
No.
Well,
He's always the bad boys,
I know. It's a real problem. I can safely say that you and I have the largest problems of anyone assembled here.
Literally anyone that either of us know.
And that's when you hear the scream from the basement as the priest realizes what you've done.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Elizabeth at EL Hamstring on Twitter, our amazing special guest, and our fantastic DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode was edited by Ryan LaPlante, and all of Dum-Dums and Dice's art is by Decapitated Markers, or at Decapitated Marker on Twitter. That's MRKR. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. Now I'm off to do more magic. See you next episode. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. Christian Menicola, Long, the Half-Blind Prophet, James Cuellar, DM Rob, Christopher Little, Olin Anderson, Sue One, George Dolby, One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield, Lord of Bradovic, Noel Louis, Anthony Griffin, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.